Test 1 2 test 1 2 test 1 2. Good evening. I am Juanqui and welcome to my world. Naris 21, nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Naris, if you did not catch yesterday's confession, it was about drugs. Baby, crackhead says as crackhead does in that video, so make sure you catch it tomorrow, maybe perhaps during your commute. Stick me in your ear hole and let me give you that man's confession. Today is a new day and we have a young female that's ready to confess to the streets of New York City. Her confession is entitled, "My ex is spreading rumors about me because of something I did." I, 23, female, had a thing with my classmate, 21, male, for about 5 months. I'm already not proud of this story for a few reasons. Parentheses, we were each other's rebounds. Things got messy and I felt like I was being a doormat and letting him cross many boundaries. End of parentheses. Things ended a while ago, but I had remaining for anger. Yeah, I'm just reading it how she wrote it. Instead of her looking for mans, she should have just focused on class. I digress. Things ended a while ago, but I had remaining for anger. So I decided to message him to let some things out that I held too long for myself. And that's where you fucked up, girl. You know, they always gotta have the last word. They always want to get back. If you broke up with him, just let him go. You go your way. Why do you need? So I decided to message to let some things out that I held too long for myself. I know I fucked up and that I should focus on growing and moving on, and also in grammar and spelling. I digress. I really do. I ended up messaging him from a second IE account of mine. He added me on where I wasn't blocked to confront him about it. I wrote angry messages. Some were insulting, but mostly things like wishing I never met him, that he blamed me for his shortcomings and academic results, while in reality, he was the one who didn't study. And some things he told me about my ex, about how he ruined my life for a few months, etc., etc., etc. I felt half ashamed about it, but I also was hurt. And it was liberating. Okay, girl. This is the mind of a 23-year-old, y'all. Well, fast forward. This guy exposes me in the classroom chat, except he stretches the story to oblivion. He accuses me of stalking him. He's actually right. Whether it's online or physical, stalking is stalking. He accuses me for, not of, but for. This girl she should have paid more attention in class. She says, he stretches the story to oblivion. He accuses me for stalking him near his home. Parentheses, I don't even know where he lives. He's the one who used to come over to my place and lives with his parents. That was kind of like a slap at the very end. It's like, he's the one that used to come to my house. By the way, he also lives with his parents. End the parentheses. in the parentheses, of creating multiple, he accuses me of creating multiple accounts to message him while it was the same and share part of screenshots. Okay, well, young lady, you admitted at the beginning of this post that you went to a different account, an account that he wasn't blocked. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, no, he's not lying. I was wildly shocked. I never took him for the kind of person capable of doing that. And most of all, I feel like people won't believe me as they don't know which parts are true or aren't true. I don't know what to do. I denied and told him he's always all talk and no action like usual. Oh, that was a read. That was a read. That he's basically also harassing me. Hey, Miss Views of You. I am apologizing in advance because there's some thunderstorms or something going on. They have changed the pattern of the flights. So you are going to hear some flights going about above my head. It happens once in a while, like the runways and shit like that. So it is what it is. But Miss View, let me catch you. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. And let me catch you up, Miss View. A 23-year-old girl has been stalking the ex-boyfriend under a different account. And he has been collecting, planning, calculating, and executed. He collected screenshots. He waited, collected screenshots, took all the insults, and then he leaked them into the classroom chat. So she in here now telling on herself and trying to, get people to feel sorry for her. Let's get back to the text. Let me start back from there. I don't know what to do. I denied and told him he's always all talk and no action like usual. That he's basically also harassing me for creating drama inside a group chat designed to share homework to begin with. Then I left all of them. I felt like it was none of their business, and I was under shock. So I didn't even know what I'm supposed to say or not to say. I didn't even have it in me to defend myself. Technically, my life now won't be affected because most of my friends aren't in school, and the two people who were my friends DM me to ask if I'm all right and sending me support, although I have no idea what they actually think. And you, girl, you also don't have no idea what a motherfucking run-on sentence is. The rest are people I didn't exchange with since the year ended, but I will be studying with some of them for the next and final year. I've always the quiet girl next door, and also the one who can't fucking write. I have a good reputation. Everywhere, even at work, I'm liked by everyone. I can think of one person who doesn't like you. And I've never had to deal with any gossip since high school. I was also looking forward to the next year, but now I don't know what to do. Girl, drop out, put a bag over your head, live under a bridge, and be ashamed of yourself. That's what I say. But let's get back to your soliloquy. I was looking forward to the next year, but now I don't know what to do. I know I fucked up, but reality is I'm lost and still under shocked. Okay, let's see what somebody says. Somebody says, key phrase, my life now won't be affected, end of quote. Let it pass. You were immature to send the messages in the first place, regardless of your anger and upset being valid. The correct thing to do would have been to move on from it, but We've all been there. Girl, speak for your fucking self. We've not all been there. Well, actually, Miss View, I may not have sent text messages in the group chat, but I definitely got into some fights up in the club. Oh, yes. So, you know what? I guess we all been there. I was more of a in real life than in the text and internet world. Yeah, I was more about that. Okay. This person says, regardless of your anger and upset being valid, the correct thing to do would have been to move on from it all. We've all been there, so it's really not that serious. He was extremely immature to spread rumors about you. I've had the exact same thing happen to me, and I promise you, nobody cares that much. They're not gonna think about it years to come. He's got no evidence of anything, but you being angry at him, it's whatever. It happens to everyone. You'll be fine. Okay, somebody else says, I don't buy your story. You knew he lived with his parents and you're pretending you don't know where he lived. Thank you. And that you weren't stalking him. Unfortunately, you already told us you sent him all these messages from an alternate account and blah 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 blah. I hope you get the help you need. You sound a bit unhinged. Miss View says not one person is going to pretty much give a care. Ain't nobody got time for that ish, and keep it moving. She came in all wrong, absolutely all wrong. Stalking, and if she had a second account that she was following his primary account, she was peeping. She wanted to see where he was, who's the new bitch, who is he friends with. She trolled that friends list and went to their pages to see if there were any connections, any concentric circles, any 6 degrees of separation. She did all that. Girl, stand in your psychosis. You acting like this is the only you've ever have had or are going to have. She was 23 and he was 21. 21. For some reason, I thought he was like 25. But I'm realizing I looked at the 21 and the male, and it says 21 male for 5 months. So my eye was deleting the 1 and putting just 25 together. But he's 21. 21. This is what you get for dating them young boys. This is what you get. And at 20, listen, the early 20s, 24s and down, all is fair in war and law. What did Mona Scott used to say? All war is fair in love and hip hop, and I'm pimping these bitches, and all is right in love and fair, and love and war and the fairness and hip hop, and Benzino got no neck, and I'm gonna take this Puerto Rican princess and prostitute her through all my things, and then I'm gonna kick her to the curb. That's what Mona Scott Young said to all these girls 3 times a week. You know, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop New York, Love and Hip Hop Miami. You know, all is fair in love and war, and I got these hooks, and I'm going to prostitute for you every night, 3 times a week. Anyway, I digress. So my suggestion to you, young lady, 23-year-old, get over it. Get over it. Miss View, I got some tea from the boat, and the staff of the boat, of said boat you was on. That's gonna come after this confession. You know, I've been doing my research and development, and I have a new bestie that is working for and on the cruise ship. But let me close out this unhinged girl. Yeah, Miss View says, get over it. Get over it, all in caps. All in caps, girl. Get over it. You 23. It's going to be a lot more that's going to come your way. Literally and figuratively Okay. And metaphorically, a lot more that you're going to come across. All right. So get over it. I know at 23 years old, you think your life is over, that you acted unhinged and the whole nine. It is what it is. It is what the F it is. Okay? Now, on to the T. Now, I don't claim to be a stalker. I just do research and development. And I guess when you are, and would you consider me a social media person? I've only been coming through consistently since December 1st, 2025. You know, I do this every night. Every night I do this. So I guess by now I should be considered a social media person. I said person. I didn't say personality. I didn't say influencer. I didn't say tycoon. I didn't say any of those words. I said a social media person. So if I'm performing research and development from one social media person to another social media person, that's just par for the course. That's just the dealings of regular business. Miss View says, tell it, I love you. We do what it do. So let me tell you, Miss View, I just been pulling my hair out of my roots, because if 2 plus 2 does not equal 4 to me, if 1 plus 2 equals 5, it bothers me, So am I in the team? No, you're not in the team, but you are the start of the team, Miss View. You are the start. By the way, I've seen your room, Miss View. I've seen your reflection in your mirror. You look fabulous and amazing. That little white ensemble you had look very nice on you. Thank you so much for the tour of the room. We keep the videos coming. We enjoy the videos. And it's really nice to see, your experience. So thank you. So, Miss View, I was still trying to figure out why was a Dominican there? He's not part of that cast. So this is what I have gathered. I have gathered that it's either a few things. Let me ask you, did you see him again inside the boat? Did he get on the boat with you and you pulled away from the dock? Both of y'all. Did you ever see him again on the Resilient Lady? Or did you just see him outside? Because I have, I've been doing my research and development. And then, and I got the 411. I got the 411. We are besties now. So I'm just waiting for Miss View to let me know if she saw the Dominican. Was the Dominican on the boat that you were on? I know you saw him at the dock, but where the DJ was. Which one? The one that you have, the one who's my new bestie. We follow each other now on social media. He's Dominican. He's like the only Dominican. Well, there's a Dominican girl, but she's on another boat. But in terms of boys, it's the Dominican boy that got on your frame when you was out there with the music pumping. You may have to email me which one. The one on the port. Yes, the one in the port. He was outside. He has some shorts on. He is in your clip. Yep. You were just doing your thing and he popped his head in there. The only Dominican from the performers. That was in that area. I just want to know, did you see him ever again on the boat? Because then I'm going to tell you what I have gathered. Now I can certainly reach out to him, but he's currently on his way to Barcelona. Hello, Miss Nubiology. Nice to see you. So yes, Miss View, did you ever see him again during your journey? Or was he just outside? I never saw him anymore. Absolutely you didn't. Of course you didn't. And this is why, Miss View. I knew it. Things when things don't align in my head, they keep me up. And I was like, I need to understand. And then because he's Dominican, I was like, okay, I feel like we can speak the same language and the whole nine. So this is what happened, Miss View. Right there, across the parking lot, you see the big building. That is their corporate building. Okay, that's their corporate building. They have a studio where they rehearse some of the shows and the whole night. Sometimes that's where they go. Well, not sometimes. That's where they go to do like their paperwork and whatever. He had just finished his previous 6-month contract and took a couple of weeks off. Sometimes they have them come out in the pier to help with crowd control and the whole nine, but they don't necessarily get on that boat. He wasn't getting on that boat. He did the whole thing. Perhaps he was there to reef time his paperwork because he had just gotten off his 6-month contract. I see the pictures and where he was like saying goodbye and he was like on vacation. Then he went and he gayed all over the country. He went to Puerto Vallarta for Pride. He went to, I think it was San Francisco for San Francisco Pride. He was all prided out the month of June. He might be in here listening to me right now. Miss View says, I was minding my business. He did yell, I just made you famous, bitch, to me, Juan. Well, because he has gone viral because he's been, like, when you were walking in, he's been in there gyrating and twerking, and that has gone viral, Let's see. I didn't know what he meant, and you could hear it on my... Yes, he has gone viral for being at the door, when you were coming in and they were all dancing and the music was playing. He has a couple of viral videos because he's up there twerking as people are coming in, right? And so wearing some really tight shorts and the whole night. So what happened was he was probably outside just doing some crowd control, whatever, interacting with the crowd and hyping your guys up before you. He is not in the Resilient Lady. So I stand corrected with that. He had just gotten off his previous 6-month contract and was on a couple of weeks of break, and he just returned to Orlando yesterday, and they were rehearsing. I've seen some rehearsal footage. They were doing some shit with feathers and things like that, and boas and real hats and stuff, and singing and that. So they were doing a run through in a studio. And then later on, well, first of all, I saw him getting on the train, the Bright Line from Miami down to Orlando. I guess they have a separate studio in Orlando. They rehearsed for a couple of days there. They showcased a couple of things. The whole team was there. It was for an invited audience. They did the show from beginning to end, the whole thing. And then they went out for some drinks and some dinner. I guess this is the new cast because I told you that, so he has signed up to another 6 months. And he did a costume fitting with his new costume and stuff like that. And last I left them boarding the charter bus that was taking them back to Miami so they can depart Miami and head to Barcelona. Now, unlike the young lady that I just spoke about and confessed to us that she was a stalking ass hoe, I'm not stalking nobody. I'm a social media person. He's a social media personality. So I'm just doing some research and development, and now my brain can rest. Because I really needed to understand why was he with Miss View? He don't belong there. What is this? What is this? Don't put out information in the social media streets and then have us show up to the port of Miami and it's backwards. So he has re-signed up. He has gotten a promotion, He's doing a different role this time, and he is on his way to Barcelona. He's going to travel all that whole other side for the next 6 months. Good for him. I'm really happy. He's a good representation of Dominicans. And now I may put the whole, file to rest. Miss View says, I don't know about any of this. Well, Miss View, let me tell you something. Sometimes when I need to let my mind wander and stuff like that, I didn't like him. Oh, drop a bomb on that. No, I thought he made you famous. Little does he know that you have videos that have gone viral, especially the ones that were in Asia and stuff when you were doing your mukbangs and stuff like that. But I digress. So, anyway, I want to thank everybody who came through. I do this every night. Every night I do this. And yes, Miss View, I could tell you did not like him because you gave that face. Okay, well, you gave the face. All right, so I want to thank you guys for coming through. Tomorrow we'll be back with another confession. Tomorrow is Friday's Eve. I'm excited. Oh, a quick update on the vitamin D deficiency. So, as you know, I have been feeling very under the weather and just feeling very drained and the whole nine. And I went for my wellness check, and everything was fine, blood cells, all of that, except that I am vitamin D deficient. No, I'm not deficient by a little bit. I'm deficient by a lot. And as I did my research and trying to understand what did this mean and how do I live with this, I found a lot of resources. It turns out that vitamin D deficiency misview is very common in black people because of our melanation. And so my doctor, who's a black lady, and I absolutely love her because she's the one that decided to. If it weren't for me, I would have never, because I like, who the fuck thinks about vitamin D? You know what I'm saying? When she did the whole panel, and I told her, I feel very drained. I need to understand, is this my age? Is it because I started life really, really young and now I'm tired? And she was like, no, you're not. You're still in your prime. You're still like, you're not middle aged. You're not none of that. So let me just run up this workup. I didn't even know she was doing vitamin D. I thought she definitely was going to do B12. So, but she did a whole bunch of stuff and everything was fine, including the B12, except for the vitamin D. And then I started doing research as to what does it mean. And a lot of the feelings, misview, and symptoms that I was having, that I was getting here up in the mic and talking about, correlate and are direct symptoms from the vitamin D deficiency misview, down to, remember when I was like, my eyes, I'm having issues with my eye, my vision. Well, misview, the good old doctor, she put me in a 50,000 UIs regimen for the next 13 weeks. I could tell you, call it placebo effect or call it real effect. I think it's real effect. Within the first 3 days, I started feeling better, Miss View. I am now, I think, in like week 4 of the regimen, and I'm feeling the best that I've ever felt. I'm almost feeling like I used to feel when I was in my mid-20s, early 20s, where I was running the streets. And when I say running the streets, I mean being successful, doing my shows, doing my schooling, and having some lobster and steak. Okay? That's what I mean by running the streets. When I talk about hustling, I mean having 3 auditions in one day and going to my class at John Jay College for Criminal Justice on the same day. Okay? So then, Miss View, I'm now on like my 4th week. I'm waking very refreshed. I don't know if you guys have noticed when I'm doing my shows, my energy is there, my voice is there. Like, yeah, I went through the day at work and the whole nine, but I'm not like drained. I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not feeling any of that. I'm sleeping like a baby. And I used to have like pain in my hands, Miss View, and they were thinking it was carpal tunnel. I'm like, fuck you, I'm not that old. Carpal tunnel at this age, that's gone. the vision pain that I was having is almost like my vision even like sharpened a little bit more, and that's without my contacts or glasses. So it's very interesting. I think there needs to be more awareness about vitamin D, and and the symptoms and all that, and because there's a lot of people that are being medicated with other things, and when it can all just be a vitamin deficiency, whether it's vitamin D or another vitamin. So I think people should try to make it a point that in the wellness checks once a year they put in vitamins, because that was the last thing in my mind. Miss View says, I would have said something to you, but go to the good doctor. But you go to the good doctors. It's all in the blood. It tells you what you need. I will inbox you. Oh yes, Miss View, please. Yes, yes, yes. Let me know. Let me know. Running to Hulk now. I know, like a kid again. You are back to normal. Miss Nubiology is saying hello. All of you, all of your shit is what I'm going through, boo. So yeah, okay. So inbox me, Miss View. I'm interested to see. I keep my blood work done 4 times a year. There you go. There you go. I do too. I do too. And I will say this: back in the day when I was, single and a bachelor, I would do like a workup like every four, like constantly, like every 3 to 4 months. So I was much more on top of my health, whether I was sexually active or not. I was like doing the workup, and I had excellent insurance, and we weren't going through the shit that we go through now with this administration. So like I could do the workup as much as I wanted, and it was private insurance, but I had no deductible, no out of pocket. Like I could just run the blood, and so, but now later on in life, as plans have changed, jobs have changed, I become married, the whole nine. I was just doing like once a year, if that. Actually, before this, I have not gotten a full workup in like 2 years. Drop a bomb on that. Miss Nubiology says, I was thinking about sunbathing in the buff to absorb vitamin D, but Mr. said, or over his dead body. Miss Nubiology, funny that you mentioned. On YouTube, I saw this couple, especially the woman, that her whole thing was sunbathing, and they're somewhere like in Arizona somewhere. So they would go to the roof, and she would be completely naked, and she would do the dog stand or whatever, that yoga dog stand, backward dogs or whatever. Her love tunnel was facing up to the sun. Okay? And she would just lay there because she says that the rays going into her vagina was giving her energy, and she was taking the ray. And in my head, I'm like, but that skin down there is very sensitive and very exposed, and you do not want to get sunburned up in the labias. You know what I'm saying? Miss View says, newbie, sat your arse down. You better now not be naked in the nude. I would fight your ass, Miss Newbie. Miss Newbie, I would say be careful, because you could get sunburn. Yes, my titties got sunburn on the cruise, and that shit hurt. And 2 weeks later, they feel okay. Like the tips, like the nips, because I'm thinking the nips and the labia can, like that, and the men on the boat, all of that can get real sunburnt. Let's see. Miss Newbie says, yes, it can be done in small doses. Miss View says, don't mess with that naked sun, Newbie. And then in terms of vitamin D, Miss Newbie, what I've learned in doing this research, as I now have to live my life as a vitamin D deficient young man. Oh, I milked the diagnosis. I laid on the bed with one head in my forehead and the other one in my heart, and I told Hulk, I cannot do it today. I am too drained to cook. Please order me something, or I cannot do the laundry today. I need to wait for this vitamin D to kick in. I am now living with the deficiency that it is. So here's what I've learned. I've learned that when they give you the supplements that she's giving me 50,000 UIs for the next 13 weeks. You take that once a week. You have to take that in a full stomach with protein, some type of meat or protein. So because what happens is vitamin D attaches, I guess, to protein and is digested by like your liver and stuff like that. And so you need to take your intake of vitamin D, and then like the next day or whatever, you go to the sun, and the sun will then activate the vitamin D that has been in your skin. So if you don't have the proper intake of vitamin D, just going out to the sun is not going to give you vitamin D. That's what I learned. Because I said to myself, how could I be so, like, literally, I'm like in the single digit numbers, right? How could I be so deficient where I just got off a boat where I came back completely toasted? All right. I purposely did not wear any sunscreen or anything. I had my shirt off. The sun was on me. So it's like, it's not for lack of being out in the sun, because I'm not afraid of the sun. I love to get tan. I'm out there without sunscreen, without sunblock, without just like absorbing the whole thing. And in that cruise, I was in the sun the whole freaking time. The whole freaking time. So I would expect the numbers to be better. But I've learned that you have to already, your body has to have the volume of that vitamin D. And then when the sun hits it, then it activates it. Miss Nubiology says, my condition is really giving me fits today. Got my lazy. Absolutely. The best part is when I just, I wear the diagnosis like a label, and, how do I live my life? Now, listen, I know that we're going to get the numbers back up, just like B12. I was B12 deficient for a long periodic of my life. So what's the plan of action is for the next 13 weeks, we'll be doing 50,000 UIs, and then we are going to retest. And then for maintenance, she said I would take 2,000 UIs once a week to just keep maintenance. And every 6 months, we will be retesting. So that is the plan. But, as I was, reflecting on what it is to have this diagnosis and how do I go on with life, I decided to become an advocate. So any black person that I know that will give me an ear, I am encouraging them and telling them my story, because I want my story to be a teachable moment to others. So I'm encouraging everybody, Naris 21, to go ahead and get your vitamin D checked during your annual physicals or your biannual physicals. Ms. V says that sounds like a good plan. I want to be known as Juanqui Pro, the advocate for vitamin D deficiency. And, if this is not the biggest telltale sign, it is now 10:03. I've been live for 39 minutes and 39 seconds, 39, and I am full of energy, okay? But I do have to go to work tomorrow, and I know you guys got stuff to do. So I will see you guys tomorrow. We do this every night. Every night we do this. Ms. Nubiology says, moment of silence for Mr. and Hulk and the divas that they married. That's right. And we're just going to take that moment of silence and we will file out.